Hello and welcome to the RoboZone Podcast, and welcome to the brand new rebuild season for 2026. We want to make sure that you follow us on all of our social media, and also don't forget to subscribe to this video series, and also click that notification button so you know when we have a new episode each week for all of you to watch, consume, and to think about as you go forward with rebuild. Thank you for watching, and let's get to the episode.
Curiosity appears to everyone, but few follow unyieldingly to where it calls them. To a place where thinkers dream of the unthinkable, and curiosity turns into magic. You'll find your calling is closer than imagined. The College of Engineering at Lawrence Technological University has all the technology and tools to make magic. Be curious. Make magic.
Hi, this is Pete Eckman with the RoboZone Podcast. I forget how many times I've had these guys on board with the RoboZone Podcast. Too many to count, but not enough. I always like to have them back. And with that, we'll get to some introductions. Kyle, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Kyle Hughes, and I'm on Team Rush 27. This is our 30th year participating in FIRST, and so that gives you some indication where all this gray hair came from. It was not from teaching, it was from robotics. But we're looking forward to this year. This year, we say this is our year, and we've said it for 30 years. So this is going to be another great year.
But you've had a lot of success with that team. Not a state champion not too long ago.
Yeah, we
right?
have a few state championships, yes.
Yeah. And always trying to get that world championship, right, Kyle?
Oh, and boy, when you get there, it's awfully sweet, isn't it, Cory?
Oh, that is a perfect segue.
I was very blessed to have Cory by my side when we won our world championship. I was so exhausted going through the whole thing that I just kept looking at him and saying, "Where are we? It's okay, Kyle. We're going to go do this next." Okay. Okay. So I highly suggest anyone who goes into the world championships, you got to have a mentor with you that knows what's going on. And that was Cory.
And with that, Cory, please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Cory Walters. I'm the drive coach for Stryke Force 2767 out of Kalamazoo, Michigan. This is not our 30th year. The team is not that old yet.
Yet.
I'm working on it. We're not there yet.
The question will be, when you hit 30, will you still be on the team?
It's a good question. Don't know. We'll see what the future holds.
We got a couple years. We got a couple years before we can.
Yep.
We even talk about that, right, Cory? So thank you guys for coming on board. The first two people that I thought of when I reached out to you guys and said, "Hey, let's do a reaction video." Cory, you've been on a reaction video or two in the past couple seasons. Kyle, I think I've had you on one or two. So you guys were my two favorite people, not only as prior world champions, prior state champions, but drive coaches as well. So who better to start analyzing what is rebuilt than that? So with that, my first question to you, Kyle, is what do you think about rebuilt? First impression.
I think 2017 rings a very big bell. That's all we could talk about this weekend was, benchmarking 2017 teams, looking at what they did, looking what they had, how did they play the game. I think it could be a good game this year. I haven't really, I don't have an opinion yet. I think it's interesting how every robot needs to get smaller and smaller, and yet the complexity is getting bigger and bigger, which is, what FIRST is all about. I just hope it doesn't preclude some of the rookie teams. I don't want it to be such a hard game that they are just driving around and trying to move fuel so that people can't collect them.
Right.
So I don't have a great opinion yet, but I think it could be. I think it could be fun behind the glass.
Oh, it's gonna be wicked fun behind the glass. So, Cory, what do you think about rebuilt so far?
Kyle's point of like 2017-esque, 100%. In the same vein, less than 1% of teams could actually shoot fuel in 2017. Right? So I'm in Kyle's hinted at it is like, I'm worried about the under-resourced teams or the rookie teams. accomplishing this task because shooting mass quantity of balls is hard. It's really hard. It's not just I have this hopper and I'm just going to get him into the shooter. And even like 2006, it was hard.
Mm-hmm.
So this, yeah, okay, pick up the balls and shoot them, but I don't. I'm same thing. I'm worried that the rookies are going to have a hard time
Mm-hmm.
executing. Yeah, and the robot's being smaller and smaller too, the 110-inch frame perimeter, and you build it and you look at it in CAD and you're like, oh, all right, there's nothing here to do anything with. It's like what you wouldn't give for 10 more inches right now.
Packaging, right? Packaging
Uh-huh.
is going to be a key this year. So I was at a kickoff event yesterday, and it was amazing. I got the goosebumps as the countdown was coming on. I always treat this like the Super Bowl for me. I love kickoff because no one knows what's going to happen. I, like you guys, kind of worried about rookies and what they can do, but this is one of the best kit bots I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And every year that kit bot keeps getting better. And I think that's a way for First to help those rookie teams, level up their things. It's not going to be a bunch of chassis of doom going out there and smashing people around. They actually gave them a really good capability right out of the get-go by accepting that fuel right out of the I'm getting the nomenclature down too, Kyle. So I've read the manual. The outpost, I think it's called, is where
Yes.
you can load and you have the gate that comes up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then, just seeing it in action, seeing the kitbot in action right there at kickoff was kind of cool for rookies. And who knows what like 118 is going to do with that, and they'll step that up a level and give them a boost. So I'm always curious to see what the Robonauts do with their everybot. It's going to be kind of cool. And then I'm sure you guys understand, because you guys are around, is that the COTS pieces that you can buy from Andy Mark or any other WCP or Rev, especially the minimum viable concept or competitive concept they called them, always good things for rookies to look at too. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to see. I'm optimistic to see what a rookie can do because sometimes rookies just blow the doors off things. I mentioned like Nerd Spark when they were rookies, just blow the doors off things, and
Mm-hmm.
let's see what happens.
Yep.
Um, Kyle, what do you think a minimum viable concept would be? Let's just dig into it. I mean,
For a rookie?
strategy. Yeah,
Um, well, it's interesting because I mean, huh, I think plowing balls would be a very smart thing to do.
Mhm.
Just if all they're doing is bringing fuel over to your partner to load and fuel that I mean that a robot needs to drive, right? I
Right,
mean that is the minimal amount that they would need to do. Um, and scoring is important, but will they be able to score enough fuel to complement to complement Cory's team, a big scoring team? Will they be able to do that? I don't know. So should they be looking at possibly moving fuel and then possibly climbing? That would be, if they focused their time on climbing and they were for sure a climb in auto and they were for sure a climb to level 3 at the end, and that's what they spent their time on, those are that's some 45 points right there. Aside the fact that during the match they supplemented, by making sure that your partners always had fuel.
right,
I mean,
right.
that's a pretty dependable partner.
Corey, what do you think a minimum viable concept or competitive concept would be?
You got to deal with fuel somehow. It's the only game piece.
Hmm.
You have to move the volume of fuel to help your alliance, right? Whether you're scoring it or you're moving it, you got to move it from one zone to the next. I do want to say like being able to climb to level, at least level one,
Hmm.
right? That's a simple hook and up and down. It'd be huge. Keep in mind that hook is only like 27 inches or the bar is 27 inches.
Hmm.
If you're a 30-inch robot, like you can just have the hook there the entire match and then just pull down.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
And it's an easy 10 points. It helps you get the ranking points. If somebody can climb to L3, you can get 15 points in auto by just driving. You could sit like right underneath the goal,
Hmm.
shoot your 8 preloads, drive straight, pull the hook
Hmm.
without any fancy auton things, right? You can just block that together. And that's a huge easy place to start at.
Sure.
Mhm.
And helps get the ranking points, you contribute. So yeah,
Mhm.
move fuel and get that simple L1 climb if you can.
Yep.
So great first pieces. I like digging into things. You guys know me by now. Is I first always likes challenging us, right? And that's great because then things don't get stagnant. So being a swerve team, like you guys are both swerve teams. I mean, some of you guys are kings of swerve. I'm just throwing that at Cory because back in 2000. Wait, we have to. There's an elephant in the room. Didn't you win the world championship in 2017?
We did, and Festival of Champions. So
So
yeah,
we have like a true subject matter expert, right, wrapped around that season. But first challenged us with having a pyramid or a half a pyramid that you'd have to go over that you could get high centered on. So swerve teams have to worry about that. There's fuel. I love the reuse of the same, kind of element back from a prior season. You could get stuck on those. So I don't think it's that easy. I think it's going to be kind of hard to do certain things, especially that climbing piece, right, Kyle? I mean, how many different types of climbs have we ever seen? It's commonplace to have a climb. But do you think this is going to be one of those true difficult? Last year, it was kind of difficult to get on, at least from my perspective. It was difficult to do that I'm going to call it high
cage,
climb.
cage,
Yeah, the
yeah.
cage. Do you think getting to level 3 this year is going to be difficult?
Well, I don't know. I know that what we did this weekend is we looked at honestly, a lot of FTC robots and how they were climbing, just to get a variety of different ideas. We looked at 118's climber. I don't know what year it was. We looked at a bunch. I mean, that we literally benchmarked climbing as part of our day today. And the problem is going to be if you're going under the trench, right? In the under the trench. If you're going under the trench, you have to be low enough,
Yeah,
20 inches. The bar is at what, 27, so you can only expand another 12 beyond your I don't know. I think that they're going to have to be smart about using their space. And obviously they can't reach all the way up to level 3 and then do a pull up. That's not going to work because they're going to be outside their perimeter allowance. So I mean, it's not, I don't think it's easy, but I think it's going to be doable.
okay. Okay, you think like week 1, we'll see level 3 climbs?
No, I think that we're going to see a lot of level 1 climbs if we even see any climbs at all. I mean, good teams, if they don't do a level 1, shame on them, because you're going to need those points. But whether or not fuel is important. So
Mhm.
fuel is going to be where everybody's focusing their time and energy right now because they need to be able, I mean, you can only get yourself 45 points max in climb. I mean, if that's your contribution.
Correct.
But fuel, some people are going to get more than 45 points in one round of scoring.
Right.
So fuel is going to be where the real meat and potatoes is going to be.
What do you think, Cory? I'm not putting any pressure on you. I know you're a week 1 participant at a certain. You're gonna
Yeah.
hit level 3 week 1.
Um, we'll see. Like to Kyle's point, like you can't secure that ranking point by yourself,
Correct.
right? You can only get 45 points out of it. And if you're in a qual match and you got somebody you can't do an L1 or they break or for whatever reason they don't have it, you're done. You can't get that ranking point
Sure.
no matter what you do, right?
Mhm.
Fuel, on the other hand, especially the first one only being 100,
Mhm.
uh, that one you can do by yourself, right? You can do that with one robot.
Mhm.
So, and the 360, that's a lot. That's a lot
That's a
of
lot.
fuel. But again, feasible outside of one with one robot. You don't need two robots to do that. So, but it's also like the L3 is a good ranking point because it's the minimum to get the climb ranking point is you do your auto, you climb L3, one person climbs L1.
Mhm.
That's the easiest way to do it. Um, so I don't know, like it's on our board because we know we want to get those ranking points to rank high. But like, do I need that for week 1? Can I wait to get my level 3 later?
Mhm.
Um, you know, we also look at what it takes to get to Einstein, and can you get three robots up to L3? How do you, packaging wise, how do you make that fit? So there's more long-term goals we're looking at, but you still got to be successful week one or your season's over.
True.
Right.
So,
And you also have to look at like week one will tell us a lot and
Mhm.
as far as what people are starting to do. I mean, last year specifically, the game evolved so much because nobody did anything with algae until later in the season. And then it was if you could steal algae and score it, you were going to beat them because everybody could do the entire coral, the entire reef. And so same thing here. I mean, by week 5, 6, everyone's going to be, you know, serious scorers of fuel. But then the question is, now it's going to come down to who can get to level 3
Right.
and how many can your partners do. Because like week one, like Cory was saying, if your partners, both of them, cannot do an L1, you cannot get that ranking point. So
Sure.
now you got to go for the win and you got to go for as many points as you can.
So back to the, because you guys both mentioned climbing L1 and you guys think that it's not a huge it's not a huge roadblock. I think a lot of people have hit L1. However, the big change with Auton this year is that we have a climbing in Auton and we have 5 extra seconds to do it, right? Because they changed that from a 15-second to a 20-second Auton. So people that can reach, like Cory, you said, like a rookie that can get on there, but it'd be better if they could figure out how to get off it once they're on it, if they wanted to do that Auton, right? That's secret sauce stuff right there.
sure. I mean, if you pull the hook, you can retract the hook situation, right? I mean, you look at the Everybot in 2020, right? Like they gave everybody the
Mhm.
string thing where you unwind and wind and right.
Hmm.
There's a lot of concepts out there to do it. And I'm sure the minimum competitive design robots that are coming out from our suppliers and from the robots, Everybot thing is like they're going to give you a simple way of doing it.
Mhm.
Um, and even if you weren't doing it in auto, if you look at all the robots from 2013 that did the pyramid hang, where they just simply just drive into it with these wedges and then
Mhm.
hung, you can do it and just commit yourself to staying on the bar.
Mhm.
Well,
I watched a video. I was doing research today. I watched a certain team, 2767, that did a really good, I call it a monkey bar climb from a couple years ago. And you could
mhm.
shoot while you were sitting at that highest point. And I was like, I think I'm going to see a state champion that does that. That type of thing. What the capabilities are, because our team is just breaking the game down like your guys is and making the must haves, should haves, really not important. However you break those columns up. And Kyle, you as a former educator, our current educator, can't remember if you're retired,
Not
but
yet.
not yet.
I'm still
So
teaching.
as a current educator, I mean, you guys have brought that down. So tell us about how 27 goes along that path of putting things in columns of what you need.
So, wow. We listed every possible way that you could play this game, like what would be all of the functions, every from A to Z. And then we had a team discussion and put them either in the yes, we have to have, no, we're giving it, we don't need it, and then needs more discussion. And so we came up with a good list of yes, gotta haves. I mean, it's gotta move. That's always number one. And
Number one.
that's something that I say every year. And I even challenged them because I didn't see it on the list at first. And they're like, it's number one. I was like, okay, okay. Because we have a super young team right now.
Okay.
Um, tw of our 33 kids, 30, yeah, 33, 27 of them only have 1 year of experience. So the first thing that we need to do is move that robot, and it needs to be a big moment on the team so that the kids can just go, "Oh my gosh, we did it. We check marked something." I mean, it doesn't matter if we're at the tournament or not. We've done something we said we
Mhm.
were going to do. The need more discussion would be done in our prototyping this week, and will it work, do they blend together? And what we're trying to do now is take all of the must-haves and kind of group them in a logical smart way.
Mhm.
um but also is continuing to do the research, the benchmarking, and prototyping all week.
Okay. Cory, how do you guys do it? You're right down the road from me. How do you guys break it down?
Similar thing to Kyle, like you break it down as like what you think the robot needs to do. We try and make sure the kids focus on what does the alliance captain or the first pick at Worlds need to be doing? Like what type of burdens that those guys have to carry to be in that spot. And you look at points per second, is it valuable? Is it not valuable to do that? Where am I at in the different shifts of the game? How do things move? And decide, does that dictate robot architecture at all?
Mhm.
So like if the captain and first pick have to do X, Y, and Z, okay, we better make sure we're able to do that and do that well, right? And so the passing the balls, the shooting the balls, like you got to do that. Okay, we got to do that really well. But you care about volume, you care about capacity, you care
Mhm.
about, speed and what paths are you taking. So you start checking those boxes and you're like, okay, well, this is kind of what the robot's got to look
Mhm.
like. And then all those elements of the robot need to go as fast as they can.
Right.
Yep.
The balls are half a pound piece, and they're heavy. So how do I deal with that? Because that's a lot to go through a flywheel when you're shooting these things. Can you
Mhm.
recover fast enough? So
Right.
Mhm.
I mean, there's a lot of commonalities, like you guys said, to 2017, but the ball weight is
Yeah, huge difference.
significant.
huge difference.
Yep.
Huge
Mhm.
difference. So people need to take that into account. So let's talk about communication. Now we're all three of us are drive coaches. I've competed with and against you both, and I have a lot of respect for you guys as drive coaches because you've done it much longer than I have. And you guys have won championships. I'm always curious as a drive coach to get better, faster, and smarter, right? So how I try, I don't know if you're laughing at me or
Yeah, I'm laughing at you.
I try to get better. Um,
Fine wine, that's what it's like.
yes, fine wine. I got it. Oh, that was a good one. You threw me off on that one, Kyle. Very good. How important is it going to be with this year, the alliances talking to each other before a match and picking out very specific roles for each robot? You guys kind of led this a little bit with the rookies.
Mhm.
So give me, Kyle, what you would do as you guys partnered with a 4 or 5 year team that has some basic capabilities in a rookie bot. Were you having that discussion with your other alliance partners?
Let's have Cory start this one. I start all
Okay,
of them.
hot potato.
So how are we strategizing before match?
How would you communicate to them? Because sometimes, and we talked about this yesterday during kickoff, that scouting is going to be a huge thing this year, just like every year, and getting honest information about what each robot does, because you really have to account for that, especially
And this
this
is
game
all pre-match.
pre-match.
Yeah, it's going to be putting, and I've done this on a couple of presentations as well. It's all put those robots in like the best value add you can put them in, right? So the point of like being a very flexible machine and having a robot capable of doing that is making sure your partners are in the best place for them to succeed.
Mhm.
So if they're really good at shooting fuel and scoring it, put them in that position. Maybe you pass to them
Mhm.
and you let them do that role. Maybe they're not very accurate at shooting and you make them do the passing and just say, hey guys, you guys are only making 50%. Just move the fuel into our zone. We'll take care of it, right? So giving understanding to them on whatever they're the best at, make sure you put them in a position to succeed where they are the most successful. And then, for my team and probably Kyle's team as well, then we'll take up whatever's left.
Mhm.
We'll flex to make sure you're comfortable.
Yeah.
Kyle, what would you be pre-match discussion?
So obviously, I mean, we would do exactly the same thing because you want to make sure that your partners are doing what they can do best. At the same time, I think there's going to be a strategy component where whether or not you are in your scoring time or your collecting time. And so there's got to be that when the bell rings and the score shows, and you know whether you're going to be scoring next or you're going to be collecting next, There's got to be that split decision, and they need to be able to communicate behind the glass. And so I think for me, I would be talking about, I mean, not only what they need to be doing, but I'm going to be talking about how we need to be communicating behind the glass. You're going to have a human player who's going to be, maybe one or two are taking care of any of the fuel that are coming into the outpost.
Mhm.
But then, I mean, and Cory knows this. I do really well with having a human player that's also by my side that is calling out time, that's calling out scores, that's calling out things really loud so that the drivers, the whole alliance can hear it. So that's something that we train our human players on really well, so that everybody knows what time it is. It's just going to be so important because the time's going to keep shifting.
That's a good. I never thought about doing that. See, I told you I'd learned something today. So I learned. I'm going to borrow that.
When you
I'll use
get
that. Weekly.
older like me, you need assistance behind the glass. So
Delegation is the best thing, right?
I just
Delegation.
call it my geriatric assistance. And there we go.
Oh, I love having you guys on this podcast. So I know that how, and I'll go back to you, Cory. How important is passing going to be? Now we talked about rookies, right? So rookies, the rookie kitbot is not really designed for passing. It's more for pushing because of the power that it has. If you built a pure kitbot and you
Hmm.
didn't modify anything and you use the same motors, it's going to be really hard to get them out because it shoots out underneath, right? So
Yep.
how important is passing going to be, at least from the neutral zone or the opponent's zone to your zone?
Yeah, I mean, we saw it in Crescendo where everyone's passing notes to just decrease travel time.
Yep.
It depends on your ball capacity, like how many balls can you hold in your robot, and because the balls in your robot can never get stolen, right? Because you internally hold them, right? So if I internally hold them and just wait till my light turns on, I score. But I think the trick is going to be how do you maximize the 25 seconds that your shift is off or when your goal is off?
Mhm.
And if you're sitting there for 15 seconds with your hand in your pocket with a full hopper and you're just waiting for the goal to turn on, you're wasting time. So what do you do? And you try and move mind share. You try and move fuel to be as beneficial to you as possible and as
Yep.
negatively as you can to the opponent. And we saw it in 2022 when teams would pick up cargo and they'd launch cargo across the field,
Mhm.
right? Disrupt it. Um, so I think it's going to be really important eventually. Was it really important early? Maybe, but there also might not be enough fuel bots with big enough capacity that early with the throughput that's going to matter. But yeah, I think it's going to matter eventually.
As you were talking, I just had this idea of a rookie that all they do is because you called it a fuel bot. And in my head, I thought about like a tanker truck that all
Hmm.
they do is go collect fuel, and then wherever you are, they go to you, and then they siphon it down so you can go ahead and shoot it. And something like that would be super cool for a rookie to do. Oh my gosh, to the fact that they're always cleaning up and just bringing it to you.
Yep.
Cool
Yep.
idea.
Just a scoop and dump, right?
Hmm.
Yep.
Dump it
That's
into the
what,
zone, pick it up and shoot it. Always be
yep.
shooting or always be doing something,
Yeah.
right? You always want the robots to be moving at some point and not stationary. So Kyle, how important is defense going to be this year?
Oh dear Lord have mercy. We played the game yesterday afternoon with our little human bodies. We put the kids on six different carpet rollers. We were 3v3 and we had tape on the field and we used notes because that was what we had on the field. Yes, we still have notes. And we were, we tried to mimic the timing and mimic, that we said they couldn't pick up any more than three just because once it got shifted, it was crazy. Some of the things that we noticed was it was a madhouse on that field. Like I sat there thinking afterwards, thank God no one got a concussion. There were bodies everywhere. People were running and screaming and trying to get here and trying to get there. And then we made up rules that you couldn't go over the bump. You had to go around it because of the fact that I mean it was too fast. Once they realized that they were not scoring, they were like, well, what do we do? And then they start going over and start stealing all the notes that the other team had. And so the defense may not be bump and grind. It might be just go and steal. And I think stealing is going to be like, I mean, it's there's going to be balls everywhere. And I, I'm envisioning maybe I'm trying to get my hopper or my robot full of fuel, so it's time for me to shoot. My partner is still sending stuff over, and then my third partner is all the way out across the field, just causing problems over there, trying to get the fuel back to the mid, at least the middle. So then
Hmm.
my middle robot could get it back to me, But it was just crazy, and so defense is going to look very different. And besides the fact, there's nothing really safe until the end of the game.
Right.
So
Right.
now, granted, the field is split into three, so you can't get a full, running start from one end to the other, but the width of 27 feet is still good enough. I don't know. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy.
Good
You-
thing. Good. You can. Well, they modified the bumper rules this year too, so you can protect the corners and wrap the corners, right? So I'm glad people are thinking about other things than pool noodles. Although I think pool noodles are still a valid
Yeah, I think
bumper
they are. I
material.
think hollow is ruled out. So
Hollow's ruled out, yes. But if you take a hollow one and you stuff a piece of cut, and then
sure,
that's solid.
sure.
So I mean, I'm not a robot inspector, but that's not hollow anymore.
Yep.
But I'm just saying, I think we're going to see some really fast robots. I mean, super fast.
Well, here's something to think about. Okay, robots are really fast. And first is like, okay, we'll make frames smaller. We'll decrease the robot weight from 125 to 115 the past couple of years. But if I have a hopper of 80 balls, I've just added 40 pounds to my robot
Mhm,
because these balls are a half pound each.
mhm.
So now you're a 140-pound robot by the time you add your bumpers and your batteries, really 180.
Hmm.
And some teams might approach the capacity of like 100 balls, maybe closer to 180, 190-pound robot driving on this field. That is a ton of mass moving
Mhm.
and
That
hitting
sounds like a
somebody.
lot of balls going to be spilt out of robots.
Well, yeah, but you still got a 190-pound hammer hitting into
It's
a
gonna,
guy.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna be.
So if I'm a defensive robot and I've got 40 pounds on you because I'm holding a hopper full of balls, you're in a different weight division now.
Yep.
So are we heading towards battle bots then?
Well, it's gonna be a battle. It's gonna be battle. And you know what? I feel bad for rookies because they're not gonna know the process of maintaining the robots in between. So I'm
Hmm.
saying to all rookies who are listening, you do a pre-check before you go out on the field. You do a post-check after you get off the field. If anything is broken, prioritize it. Make sure that you're functional before you go back out. Because if you go back out and you're injured, you're no help to anyone. Take the time if you have to sit out a match, send your human player out. At least then your human player can help behind the glass. But robots are going to get hurt. And like you
Okay.
were saying, a 200-pound mass going across the field. I mean,
Mhm.
I sit here and think about getting hit by a 200-pound person, and I'm not quite as light as the lightest robot is going to be. But man, that would hurt.
Yeah.
That would hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. These robots are going to get heavy and there's going to be massive frame damage. And the field isn't like totally open, but it's kind of
Yep.
open.
Kind of.
And you're scrumming for balls. And it's like, man, these robots they're gonna hurt each other.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not 2023 where you're trying to like crisscross at 20 feet per second.
Right.
But yeah, if you're shooting and those robots got weight, that's a 180-pound sledge coming at you.
Good thing we don't have a ramp right in the middle of the field. Slight
Right.
ramp. Not like the teeter-totter that was
Yeah.
2023, but pretty close. So, Cory, have you guys done the calculations? I'm betting you have. One of you guys' team has. What at max, according to the robot rules, right? You can only be 30 inches tall. How
Yeah.
many pieces of fuel can you actually jam into a robot?
I mean, we haven't because you design it to be maximum big as possible in the first place. And whatever that is, it is. Like you make everything as small as you can to make your hopper as big as possible. And whatever that comes out at the end of the day is what it is.
Okay.
Mhm.
I mean,
Right?
do you
Like,
have a guess? Do you have a guess what you're going to see?
I mean, I think teams would be around like 50 to 90. depending on how they do things, right? Yeah, I think we've already seen some RI3D robots do like 50 balls in the thing.
Mhm.
You know, there's ways you've seen in the past now you can maximize that a little bit. But again, I got to find 90 balls. I got to find all those balls and I got to move them. Am I passing them or am I holding them?
Sure.
And
I
And
think you'll
remember,
find them. There's 406 balls on the field
it's
anyway.
500, isn't there?
Oh,
yeah.
is it five?
It's
But
500.
remember, as soon as after auto, those balls are all going to go to corners. They're going to be spread everywhere.
But they're
So
all in the center,
they start in the
right?
center.
They
Well, they go
start,
back
yeah.
to this. They go back to the center after you score.
That's
Oh,
true.
right. But
Through the
I'm just
hub.
saying, with people moving around, they're going to end up spreading along the walls. It's going to be just a giant
Yes.
wall full of balls.
Yep.
So
Fuel.
this leads to I was gonna save this to the end, but I want to ask it now. I've always had this argument, and I think me and Cory had this argument a couple years ago, over the bumper intake or under the bumper intake. Because we can have a split bumper this year. Last year we couldn't, but this year we can because it's on the kit bot. So Cory, over the bumper intake or through the bumper intake?
Right now we're doing over the bumper because of the fact that I can get it back in and the fact that this game, as I said earlier, is going to become a wrecking, a demolition derby. We want the full frame.
Okay.
So we want the full protection.
How about you, Kyle?
I was not in the conversation today for many reasons, but there's an argument for both. I mean, obviously, if you do, under the bumper, then it is just your bumper perimeter. However, going over the bumper allows you to have more space to hold balls because you're pulling your intake out. My concern about taking the intake out is that it needs to be durable because it's going to get nailed every time. And I've played too many years where I'm like, pull it in, pull it in. Okay, all right, you're safe. All right, no, turn around, use the butt. Don't. No, okay, we're safe. Because the robot, I'll never forget. They always say to me, "Don't take any side impacts." Well, how can I control that? And in this game, it's crazy, right?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
so side impacts are going to be. I mean, if I'm sitting there shooting and someone comes up, or I'm picking up to go and someone comes by, bam, side impact. So it's got to be durable.
Yeah. I was watching another reference video today of 2054 from 2017, and their intake went out. So it was kind of over the bumper. I call that over the bumper, but they expanded the hopper at the same time. But
Hmm.
then I was thinking how you guys are saying if you took a hit, that's going to hit because theirs they left out to maximize because if you try to jam everything back in,
Hmm.
because the weight and these game pieces don't give very much,
Mm-mm.
right? I
No.
got one in the future dogs are going to love these things because I can see them as dog toys. But for the season, extending and trying to bring that back in and trying to jam all that stuff in and some type of agitator, right, automatically came to mind because you guys needed that in 2017. So
Lots of teams had agitators in 2017. Also, think about when we got what, a couple balls today, and they're tacky like the notes were at the beginning. They start rumbling around on that carpet, they're going to no longer be tacky. So teams, if new teams go out and say, "Oh, this is what it feels like and this is what it's going to be," you got to understand these balls are going to change. Now, I don't know how often they're going to be changing them at a tournament, but I can just see where there's going to be chunks out of them and like past
yeah,
like past game elements.
yeah. What was the one? I can't remember. I was looking it up today. Was it Rapid React? No, that was the blue and that was the tennis balls. The COVID year.
The
Uh,
yellow,
yeah,
what they call them, foam, they're
yeah.
foam
Mhm.
I
from.
got to compete that year because we were in week one. That's why I like week ones because you compete before something happens. But I remember the yellow mist. I call it the yellow mist
Oh
of
yeah.
the coverings coming off those. In fact, we almost got penalized for it. I'm like, what do you want me to do? Is going through a hooded shooter. It's gonna,
Mhm.
sorry, get a
Yep.
better
Yeah.
get a better game piece.
No, I don't think these are going to do that. These
No.
You
are
know?
way more dense, and the skins seem way more in contact. Um, but I think the other thing to worry about too is with the balls. Keep in mind, if you're launching and passing these balls, you better be okay with this ball hitting your robot
Oh
in
right.
places you don't want it to.
Right.
So
protection.
be ready for hammers falling out of the sky hitting your robot.
What I
Treat 'em like
heard, what I heard you say is protect your limelight.
protect all of it. Protect your azimuths, protect your swerves, protect your main breaker,
Hmm.
protect all of it. Because okay, are you going to take this ball, throw it up in the air as far as you can go, and have it land on your robot? And you better be okay with that happening because that's what's going to happen.
Right.
Also, field staff, keep your head on a swivel because these
Oh,
will. Oh,
yep. I want to set up all kinds of GoPros, like a 360 GoPro around, because there's going to be balls left, right, and center. I mean, even the audience better watch out. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
Dodgeball Kingdom reference. As soon as he got a trophy, just take one to the side.
Oh yeah.
So, Kyle, what other things, what are the gotchas of this year? Every year there's a couple gotchas. If people don't read the rule book, and we ask everyone to read the rule book as much as possible, thanks to AI, even in Chief Delphi, I was out there the other day, someone trained an AI off the rule book so you can ask it a rule if you need clarification. What do you think the gotchas for this year are going to be?
I don't know. I think that the intermittent scoring has got some discussion to it. You know, do you want to win auto because then you can score immediately, or you have time to pick up and your partner has to score immediately? Or do you want to, you know, maybe you don't win auto, but then it gives, you go ahead and you fill up during auto so that you have more fuel in the first cycle. I would never want to give up any points ever, but I mean, that will depend on what your partners are doing. So I think one of the gotchas is going to be what what's the strategy for the for the intermittent scoring? I mean, everyone should want to win auto because it just, to me, it sets you up better. But then there are some really good arguments today about not winning the auto and scoring what you have, but preparing for that next, 20 seconds.
So is if I'm reading you right, is that like a autonomous routine that scores then goes automatically into the middle section and start picking up balls to prepare for that next
Yep.
volley? Okay. What about you, Corey?
What the gotchas for this game?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to debate whether or not you're gonna be a tall robot or a short robot. Do you do the trench? Do you not do the trench? If I'm a short robot and I go through the trench and I fill up my hopper, well, maybe my hopper expands, but now I can't go back through the trench. It means I gotta go over top of the bump. Um, so there's things like that.
Hmm.
Teams are negotiating. There isn't a ton of, I don't think there's like a ton of like gotchas or red herrings. It's a pretty simple, straightforward game. There's some architect decisions that you have to decide on from a robot standpoint.
I thought you brought up a good one is if you're a trench bot, if you're going through the trench, make sure that depending on your capacity of your hopper, you try to go back through that trench. You might have a ball sitting up there, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Or if you have I know a team, I'm not gonna mention numbers, but I remember a trench video from a couple years ago that their shooter was up and they ran through the trench and it decapitated itself.
Yep. We did do that. We did do that.
You lessons learned, right? Lessons learned.
Yep. Now that ball was underneath the robot and it lifted it up just a little bit, and then there was no more turret. It was
Yeah.
dangling across the ground.
How? Oh, okay, that's a good one. I think this one would be the last one
Oh, turret or no
ask you
turret?
guys. No, no. Well, okay, two more.
Okay.
Okay, turret, fully articulated turret or stationary turret. Meaning, when I say stationary turret, I just mean swerve that can act as a turret, right? So active turret versus non-active turret. Corey.
So turret or non-turret, essentially, fix the fixed thing.
Yeah.
Um, it depends on what your goals are. Like, what's your vision? Where's your vision system at? Can you make the turret work with your vision system? Are you able to read April tags? Do you have odometry? Are you able to lock on the goal with your turret? If not, don't even go down that road. Just start with a regular straight shooter. And in some places you can probably get better volume out of a straight shooter over, a turret. You probably do because you can just do a big old wide thing, a big old wide shooter and go. And it's way simpler. I think a robot like that can dominate this game very quickly. Um, the robot that's able to, have the turret and play the field that way will probably edge out that robot eventually at a high level. But man, that simple robot's just going to just wreck people early.
Mhm.
So build within your capacity. Do you have vision? Are you able to make a turret work? If not, do the simple thing and practice.
Okay. Kyle.
I probably have to echo most of what he said, especially because the space and capacity too within your smaller frame, it's gonna take time, and you're also gonna have to sort and select those balls through there. So if you want to dump them faster, then I say no turret. If you want to, I mean, you can still go single fast, but again, this fuel is heavier than before, so you're gonna have to really ramp it up to get those to come out as fast as, a, a multiple
Mhm.
scorer. So it's space too. Aside from just the do you have the capacity, it's also space. And this is a smaller bot.
Okay.
Mhm.
What was it? That was going to be the first one. Now you made me forget the second question, Cory. Okay. Will we see a side climber? Side climber meaning that instead of climbing, are people gonna are you know 2 years ago, 3 years ago, the monkey bar year, you had a robot that actually kind of was a jumping jack, jumped
Yep.
up, grabbed, right? Are we going to see something like that this year? How creative are people going to get with climbing?
I
Cory.
don't know. Like, you still gotta stay within your 30-inch height limit, right? So
Yeah,
even if you're a jumping robot, you gotta be you're only gonna have like 10 inches. Let's say you're 22 inches or a 20-inch robot, you only got 10 inches of stroke to get that lift going. Um, as far as the question of it climbing on the side, you can climb on the side, you can climb in the center, you can climb in the rung. Um, it's whatever works best for your team. Again, do you think you can climb and get three L3s or not?
yeah,
Like,
Right.
can you get three robots on the third level or for the 30 points? And it's tough when you try to, okay, if you climb up on the side, where do the other two robots go? Right. So you're trying to plan for your partners and where they're going to climb and how do
yep.
you get out of their way as much as possible. And we haven't found a good way to stay out of the way yet. Like every
Mm,
way we've looked at that climb, it's like, okay, it works, it's fast, but you're still in the way. Like you haven't opened up the door for for
Right.
three threes, right? And then you go back to, is it worth even trying to do this complicated bit for something that you still can achieve at the end anyways?
That's true. That's true. Kyle, you feel the same way?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, if you or your partner can get a climate auto, and then you can get to level 3. You still need another climber. And so
Mhm.
you have to be able to, you can't just say, I'm climbing in the middle on level 3 because then you've just boxed out your partners. Now,
Correct.
granted, if that's all you can do at the end, then go for it. But I'd probably want to pick up more fuel and score them. I
Maximize
mean,
your
it just
cycle time.
depends. It depends on what's going on. Especially if their robot gets there first and there's no room for me, then I have no choice but to continue to score.
Okay.
Yep. It's a thing of like we talked earlier, putting robots in the position that makes them of value.
Yep.
So if you got a partner that's really good at doing level 3 but can't shoot that well, then yeah, maybe they should be the ones that go
Mhm.
climb. But if your partners can shoot really well, then maybe you go climb. And it's all, as we talked about earlier, it's just points per second,
Points per
right?
Mhm.
second. There's a calculator out there. There's multiple calculators out
Yeah.
there.
Yep. Yeah, it's points per second. At the end of the day, if I can shoot more fuel than I can climb, I'm shooting fuel. But if I
Mhm.
can climb faster than I can shoot fuel, then I climb.
What if you can climb and shoot fuel at the same time?
Why weren't you shooting before you climb?
Yeah, making
That's
yourself lighter.
It's like we just talked about, you're adding 40 pounds to the robot.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. I
You know,
forgot about that piece.
yeah, the
See, I
reason
learned
we
two things.
climbed in 2022 and then shot was because we wanted to be able to get up first
Hmm.
to allow other people to climb to that bar. So because that was the Einstein tiebreaker that year. And we wanted to be up there first and stable. And okay, well, we'll bring balls with us so we can take the shots there to allow other people to come into us.
Okay.
And it was a really hard shot. It was kind of like, hey, this kind of works, so let's go for it. And yeah, you can climb and shoot this year, but
You're
is it easier
lifting.
just but now you're lifting all that weight, and you could have shot before you climbed.
This is true. This is true. Food for thought. I learned 2 things today. One from each of you. I learned all kinds of stuff off you guys. So the one thing anyone that's watching this, if you're a rookie team, I think any team can learn from the robot in 3 days because they do a lot of proofing of things, of ideas before you even try to do that. I know we look at, I do it in exhaustion. It's like I'm always looking for a new video that's, an update so I can see things. And there were some robot in 3 days that we saw all over the place winning stuff last year. So I can't wait to see what comes out of that. Especially because they had a climber that could climb that cage out of day 1. So, or
Yep.
out of day 4, I should say, because they had 3 days to build it. But as you guys sign out, please tell us how we can follow, who you are, and how we can follow your team. And Kyle will go with you first.
I'm Kyle Hughes. I'm on Team Rush 27, and you can follow us on our Facebook or our website, teamrush27.net, or Facebook, I believe it's Team Rush 27.
And what events are you doing this year, Kyle?
Oh, dear Lord. I know we're week 1, 3, 5, and then states and worlds.
Okay. 1, 3,
Where's your
5.
where's your out of state? Where's your out of state event?
Ohio.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we were able to get in. So we're excited. We're super excited about that.
And we wish
Cool.
you luck.
Thank you.
You're up next, Cory.
My name is Cory Walters, drive coach for Stryke Force 2767. You can follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. You pick it, we'll probably be there. Yeah, we're going to Lakeview week 1 and Battle Creek week 4. And then if that goes well, then there's States week 7. And then if that goes well, there's Worlds week 9.
Yes.
Yep. And you want to know a scary fact?
What's that?
We are, because we're all competing week 1, right?
Yes.
Yes.
We are closer to week 1. I believe this is right. We have less time between now and week 1 than week 1 till Worlds.
Wow.
Wow.
Actually,
Yeah.
I was talking about that today, and I kept saying, well, when we get halfway, and then I'm like, wait a minute, that's less than halfway.
Yep.
Wow. Wow.
You
So
want to know
that-
another fun? You want to know another fun fact, Pete?
What's that?
I used to be behind the glass when Cory was just a kid in high school, and he was a driver.
It's true.
Interesting. Well, you've had 30 years as a coach,
A
so
long time.
yeah.
Yep.
Fun fact, Kyle, I have to compete with and against Cory's team at both week 1 and week 4.
Oh, good. Good luck to you.
No pressure. No pressure.
My goal is to see Cory at the state championships.
What about me?
And you too, of course.
Oh,
Well, we were
nice.
talking about, playing against him. With
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe 27, maybe 27 and 30, 36, 58, if I can remember my own team number. We'll go up against 27, 67. Who knows? Let's get there and then we can play.
Yep.
Thank you
Absolutely.
guys. Thank you guys for coming on board, being gracious professionals, as all you guys always are. Rest in peace, Woody. We miss you.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you guys in the next couple weeks.
Yep. Thanks, Pete.
Thanks.
With eyes raised above what is, there is a view of what could be. Beyond all known horizons are visions of an unformed future, brimming with curiosity that can change everything. When looking for the technology and tools that will turn your curiosity into magic, look no further. Lawrence Technological University. Be curious. Make magic.